So this question is, I've heard 2 messages regarding DACA. I can't actually read this.
I can read it because I wrote it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
The two messages I've heard is if you're documented now, do not renew.
Okay.
I've also heard if you're documented now, do renew. Okay. So which is it? That was the first question. And then my second question was, at this, because I just don't know this, if you're employed right now and you're documented, is the employer in any obligation to check, or can you, I'm wondering if they could just, turn a blind eye?
Okay. So
short question, because I'd like to have a couple of,
okay.
Yeah.
So the question was, what is an employer's obligation for someone who's DACA who may be expiring? Do they have to recheck? And the answer is yes, because that's part of the I-9 function. And the second question is, if you are a DACA recipient already, should you, and your card is expiring, should you renew or should you not renew? And I think the concept has been that if you're already in the system and you have the funds to take a chance, then you should renew. Because it could be that you won't get anything for that benefit, and that's really the concern. It's an individual choice, not a legal choice. But if you have never had DACA and you are eligible, we are definitely saying don't apply.
Okay. Thank you.
We're basically not having people reapply. And we have to figure out other legal protections because it's very clear that this coming president is not going to continue the executive order. So we will protect people, but the system will end as we know.
I actually have a follow-on question to that. So all these records are with the executive branch, right, potentially shared with different agencies. Is there any reassurance we can provide to people that that information that they shared when they applied will not be used against them?
Not right now, but the idea was, of course, that none of that information was going to be provided to, say, law enforcement. So we hope that will continue. But I think the assurance we can provide for folks is we're going to stand with them. We're going to round up as much legal protection as we can. But to make a hope that this coming administration will continue to honor the confidentiality, we can't make that.
But can we fight for it? Like, what can we do to...
Yeah, I think you could fight for it, but here's the answer, or part of my answer from this perspective. The incoming president said on live television that only criminal immigrants are the focus of the first cohort of people, right? There are around 790, 750,000 DACA recipients, and to receive DACA, you could not be a criminal. So therefore, they are not the priority. So to me, it seems to be, as we said before, the Obama administration was good, but not great, that he's not really changing the enforcement policy between those two parameters. I think more concern is for those people who are going to detention centers or people who are picked up in the due process argument. Because the problem is, when you pick up an immigrant who you're speaking English to them, and the ICE officer says, well, you want to take this form and take voluntary departure, don't you? And they go, yes, when in fact they might have valid claims in the system, or you're a child, or you're already fleeing that's the real problem. And the real problem is sort of reaching those communities to educate them on what their rights are under the Constitution now so that they don't wind up saying, okay, I'm going to take voluntary departure. That's the biggest stretch, right? And what happens is the stories that were happening in New York, right? They pick up the mother, and then they forget the mother has kids in school, right? And so then what's on the news is the teacher saying, here's this kid that's 5 that's been here all day waiting for their mother, and lo and behold, ICE has picked up the mother. That is not a good start to any presidency.